On today's preview, Tottenham versus Man United and the crucial game for a Champions League place. We go through the league position, form, injury news, stats, and finally stick around for the predicted lineups and score predictions. Coming up now.
So, the game is happening at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, and it's live!
Live from the Toilet Bowl Stadium.
On Sky! I wonder... sorry, I just heard jealousy there. I just want to check my headset. I would like to one day see Martin Tyler do that live, just to see what he looks like when he does it.
Well, now he's probably in pajamas doing it, safe from his home.
Okay, well, enough about Martin Tyler being in his PJs. Let's move on to Tottenham and Manchester United. So their league positions coming into this game, they're separated by 3 positions and 4 points. Both teams will be desperate for Champions League, especially when you consider the financial impact of coronavirus. United currently sit in 5th, which if you've been following the news about the Manchester City ban, you'll know that this could potentially be a Champions League spot. Tottenham Hotspur are currently in 8th, and they need to take over Sheffield United and Wolves before they even think about taking over Manchester United and getting into those coveted Champions League places.
Yeah, massive game. 5th place trophy is up for grabs.
And it actually means something this time.
Yeah.
Form-wise, so in the last 6 games, Tottenham have managed to get 10 points, and Manchester United have managed to get 11 points. But if you actually look into the detail, you'll see there's one team performing really well, and there's another team that's actually performing really badly.
Yeah, no, and it came at a very good time for Tottenham because they lost like 3 of their last games, and they got dumped out of the Champions League. They got dumped out of the Cup as well. Mourinho didn't have Harry Kane or Son Heung-min, and they were kind of spiraling out of control. And it seemed to me like that was the beginning of where Mourinho and his team implodes and he gets sacked like a month later. But for Man United, the reverse was actually happening. I mean, they were performing really well. They were building on their solid defense with Maguire and Lindelof and Aaron Wan-Bissaka. And Bruno Fernandes was kind of spearheading the Man United attack and really taking charge. And they were starting to show a lot of form.
Yeah, I think it's worth mentioning that in the last 5 games they are unbeaten, and that's a run that includes both Chelsea and Manchester City. Let's have a quick look at the stats, though. And do you know what I find quite interesting when you compare Manchester United to Tottenham?
Yeah.
Is on the face of it, they actually look quite similar.
Yeah,
I know there's a slight difference with goals conceded per game. But I'd say on the face of it, it's quite similar. But it is actually defensively where it takes a massive... there's a massive gap. Weirdly, Tottenham actually have more tackles per game and more interceptions per game. And I think what that proves is stats can really mean nothing when it comes down to it. Because Tottenham, for the last 2 seasons, not including this one, they finished 5th in most clean sheets. Do you know where they are this season?
I'd say near the bottom.
Dead last.
Dead last. Yeah.
They have been woeful defensively this season.
Yeah,
I'm actually surprised.
Their like individual mistakes are like they're really high at the top of the league with that. And you know, another bit on the stats, I find it really weird that Manchester United have such a poor goals to shots ratio as well. So I feel like if they can get their shooting boots on, they could make a real push for 4th and 5th properly.
Yeah, I don't know who they want to blame for that. I don't know who their regular bad shooter is. I think we probably have
It's Pogba. It's Pogba. He's out, but you know they'll blame him for anything.
He gets blamed for everything: conceding goals, bad shooting. Let's move on to the injury news. So the break couldn't have come a better time for Tottenham or United. United are seeing a return of Rashford and Pogba, whereas Tottenham are seeing a return of Son, Kane, Maguire and Sissoko. That being said, for Tottenham, they don't have a completely fully fit team, as it was announced earlier this morning that Tanganga will miss the game for a back injury. The only other news to mention is Dele Alli has officially been suspended following his silly gesture he made.
Oh, yeah. That seems like ages ago. Well, it was ages ago, but yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Silly boy.
it feels like a few years ago.
And Eric Dyer, he's not suspended. He's charged, but he's not suspended. I don't know. Nothing's come out with that one, has it?
I haven't mentioned Eric Dyer simply because I do think he will get suspended for the game, but it hasn't been officially announced yet, so we're not really sure. When we do the predicted lineups, I'm not including Dyer for that reason, but as there's been no official decision yet, he hasn't officially been suspended yet.
Okay.
But as I said, we'll move on to the lineup. This is what we think the predicted lineup is going to be for Tottenham Hotspur. Hugo Lloris in goal, Aurier at right back. It pains me to say.
Just the rubbish Emmanuel Boué, but yeah, can't continue.
Yeah, moving on. A centre back pairing of Sanchez and Alderweireld, and Ben Davies at left back to complete the defence. I think Mourinho has a bit of an issue in midfield, and I'll tell you why. It's because he doesn't really have a number 6. And so I think the closest thing he has to a number 6 at the moment at Tottenham is Harry Winks. So I think he will start next to Ndombele. Replacing the suspended Dele Alli in the number 10 role will be Lo Celso, I think. I think they're moving a bit further forward because he can play that role.
Bit of a new midfield trio, isn't it, to start straight away?
Yeah, but at the same time, they would have been forced into that anyway because Ali's played a lot of games under Mourinho, so they would have had to, whoever they put in there, it would have been kind of a new combination.
Right.
I think he'll put Son and Bergwijn on the wings, and Harry Kane up top.
So have we got Son? Of course, I think he's the best player, so I think he's gonna have to hit the ground running for Tottenham to get into this game. But for Man United.
For Manchester United, you have De Gea in goal, Wan-Bissaka at right back. I think he'll go with Maguire and Lindelof. They've played really well and they've built up a really strong partnership.
Yeah, don't touch that back line. You got to keep what's strong.
And Shaw finishing up the back 4. I was tempted to, I was considering if they maybe do the 3-5-2 that they did against Chelsea and Manchester City, but it hurts me to say that I don't think they find Tottenham as much of a threat. So I think he's going to try and play a tactic where he can really use his key players. That being this midfield trio of Fred holding the midfield and then Pogba and Fernandes being either side of them.
Not Matic, you say? You're going with Fred? Because his form improved quite a bit towards the middle of the campaign.
Yeah, and I think he was one of the key players when they were playing the last 5 games and being on that unbeaten run. And I don't think he would want to mess with that.
Yeah.
There have been rumours today that Pogba wouldn't be played, but I think that might be a little bit of mind games because I really think if you have a fully fit Pogba, you play a fully fit Pogba.
I think that's one of the fascinating things to watch in the final couple of games of the season is just how Pogba and Fernandes played together. And like, if it doesn't work out, obviously everyone will blame Pogba, but it'll be interesting to see his body language, Pogba, to see if they can convince him to stay.
You know what? It might. I actually don't think Pogba would be the problem there because he's played in a midfield 3 before at Juventus, and I think he played in it very, very well. It gives him a bit more freedom. It might be more Fernandes trying to work out that role as being part of a midfield 3. So I'm actually fairly confident that Pogba will be able to adapt to that quite well. It'd be Fernandes. If there is a problem, who would be the issue?
Ooh, calling Fernandes out. Okay. Well, we'll see.
Well, no, it might work, but I'm just saying that if there is a problem, I think it might be more Fernandes than Pogba. But let's finish the lineup.
Yeah.
I think you go Rashford, James, and Martial. I was considering putting Ighalo in there, but he hasn't played that many Premier League games, and I don't think Solskjaer will take a risk on him playing his kind of first start for the Premier League being against Tottenham, who will be a bit of a threat.
Yeah, and you're going Martial up front.
Yeah, sorry, I said that right?
But Rashford on the left, Martial up front. Maybe they can dovetail and like interchange a bit, even though because they both like playing as the left wing forward. That's why the consideration with Ighalo, because he's a proper centre forward, and he'll just stay up there.
Yeah, 100%. I think neither Rashford or Martial like being the out and out striker, but as I said, I don't think at this point in time, Igalo's ready to start a Premier League game of this magnitude.
Yeah, and you got James diving on the other wing as well, so that completes the attack for Man United.
I think it's plenty of praise, and I think they're going to try and hit Tottenham on the counter, and I think you've got 3 players there who you don't want them running at you.
Yeah.
So let's move on to how we think they're going to win, and what we think the key elements are.
I'm doing United. You're doing your team, Tottenham. So go on, give me it. How are Tottenham gonna win this? The bookies say you aren't, but
well, to put it frankly, I think this is going to be a really tough game for Tottenham, and I think the main issue they've had over the past few months with Mourinho is they were under Pochettino for 6 months, and I think Mourinho not only had to teach his way of playing football, but he had to undo what Pochettino had taught them, and I think that's been really difficult for Tottenham, especially when they've had key injuries to key players. So therefore, there's players like Son and Kane who haven't been able to fully do all the training sessions and to learn his way. So I still think they're in that process of adapting under Mourinho.
I see,
and I think that's true. And I think that gives Solskjaer a massive advantage tactically. And I think for Tottenham to win, they're going to need. It's essentially going to have to be a smash and grab similar to City, and they're going to need that little bit of magic from one of their key players, whether that's Son, Kane, or Bergwijn. I think realistically they're not going to get that many chances, so they're really going to have to take the chances that are given to them with both hands and try as much as they can to not concede. Because I don't know if you saw the Tottenham-Manchester City game, but
that was the most frustrating thing I've ever seen.
Yeah, and it was that little bit of magic from Bergwijn, and we just managed to kind of to keep them out. I don't know how, but we did. And
it's one of those 1 in a million performances where you're getting absolutely battered, but you win or draw. And when I was watching it, I was like, why can't that happen for my team? When you see it happening for another team.
It used to. You're even worse now, though.
Yeah.
It's grim reading for Tottenham fans, but that is genuinely how I think it will get played out. Tottenham might have the lion's share of possession. I think Manchester United would be happy for them to have that. But I think when it comes to actually clear-cut scoring chances, I think United will dominate, which is why Tottenham, I think, are really going to be in for a difficult game.
Yeah, it's funny you say that about smash and grab, because I think with Mourinho, it's highly likely that he could dip into the old pocket and get the parking the bus tactic out, and which he can do by 5 subs. Once he gets one goal up, he might sub all 5 defenders in and go 10 at the back. But for Man United, I think they can really build on their solid defensive pairing in Maguire and Lindelof, and I think what's really important is the midfield battle for Man United. I think with Fernandes and Pogba, and you got Fred sweeping up, I think they could dominate that midfield and really take hold of the game and have the lion's share of possession. And like we said earlier, you have Rashford, Martial, and James, who are very pacey, very, very pacey. So even when Tottenham build up, Man United could be quite effective in the counter attack. But I think Man United are just the better team overall, and they might not be clinical as we saw in the stats, but I think they're going to create more chances than Tottenham, who have not spent a lot of time together.
Yeah, so that leads us to our prediction. My one is sadly, I think it's going to be 3-1 Manchester United.
Oh, wow. I didn't even go that hard. I went 2-1. 2-1 Man United. I think Rashford and Bruno are going to score. And the tap-in merchant that is Harry Kane, he's going to get a tap-in somewhere at some point. 92nd minute.
Tap-in merchant. Maybe you should go to the Europa League like Aubameyang and score some goals there, because that's how Arsenal players get their goals. Right?
He's second top goal scorer.
Yeah, not until he moves to Chelsea. But that's it.
That's it. Enjoy the game. Grab as much beer as you can on a Friday, because I will be too.
Thank you very much for watching. We really appreciate it.
If you want some more news, debates, previews, hit the subscribe button and the bell notification for Fickle Sports. See you later.
See ya.